Okay, so we are back to looking at apartments today. We are going to the North End to look at two different apartments that are in older buildings, but they're a little bit cheaper. And so this is kind of like the historical side, I guess. We'll see. We'll see what we can find over there. I'm a little bit concerned because there's no parking over there, which is fine right now because I can walk, but that'll be interesting. So let's go check them out. Okay, so this is the first one. The first thing that strikes me about this one is that it is right across the street from my favorite coffee place, which is called Dolce, which is good and bad. I would definitely be in there every single day getting coffee for sure. They have gelato and pizza in there as well, so that would definitely be a frequent stop for me. There are a bunch of restaurants in this part of the North End, and on nice days they usually have all of their doors and windows open, and a lot of them have like windows that are floor to ceiling windows. So I assume that during the summertime it's going to be very loud. I've been down there quite a few times to have dinner, and it's very loud, and there's a lot of food smells, which is good when you're hungry and you're in the mood for Italian food. It may not be so good as an everyday occurrence though. So we're gonna keep that in mind while we go look at this place. So it isn't an older building, and you would think that with an older building it would be more of a historical place, but it's not really. It's been updated, which is kind of nice. It still has wood floors, and I love the border that's on the wood floors. I like that it's nice, but it doesn't have any character. They took away all the character and kind of just left gray walls. The kitchen has been updated as well. So there's new cabinets and newer appliances and granite countertops, or granite looking countertops, which is nice. The bedroom is a good size, but it's kind of a weird shape. It has all these funky angles, and I don't know what in the world that closet door is. It reminds me of something that my grandparents had in their house. Like, hello, 1970s, 1980s. Yeah, that's definitely not my favorite. The bathroom was a decent size though. There's plenty of counter space, and it has a bathtub. And you guys know how much I love bathtubs. So, overall, pretty positive. It is 625 square feet, which is about 150 more square feet than what I have now. So that's good. Every little bit helps. So because this is a small building in the North End, there are 0 amenities here. What you see with this apartment is exactly what you get. One of the things that worries me is I lived in an apartment building like this in Weymouth, and I had Amazon packages stolen because they were just left outside, and there was no concierge, there was no building manager, no secretary, nothing. So you had to be careful of that kind of stuff. Another thing that I ran into in that building is there were some people who moved in who were not the best, and it was a girl and her boyfriend or husband, and they like to get into arguments usually about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they would go running through the halls screaming, and this happened frequently. And I complained to the building manager, and he was like, well, whatever. If you have a problem, call the police. Like, I really just don't care. And I probably should have called the police. I don't know. I just ended up moving, actually, is what happened. So I'm a little bit concerned that something like that might happen. You never know with buildings that don't have management, or that don't have on-site management, I guess I should say. This building does have management, just not on-site management. That's definitely something that I'm thinking about. But, I mean, there are a lot of positives. It is in a great neighborhood that I love. It's right next to my favorite coffee shop. It's very nice. It's been updated. The kitchen looks nice. Another one of the downsides, though, is that there's no parking. So, no parking garage. There is on-street parking in the North End, but you have to get a resident permit from the City of Boston. Okay, so I did check on the City of Boston website, and it says that there's no charge for these resident stickers. But again, it doesn't guarantee you a spot. It just gives you the right to park there. And you can see from some of the videos, and some of the videos that I'm going to show you later in this video, the streets in the North End are very narrow. And I mean, my car does park itself, which is nice, but anytime that you're parking on the street, you're running the risk of people running into you, which, I mean, honestly can happen in any parking garage, but I just feel like there's a bigger risk when you're parking on the street. Plus, you have to fight for a parking spot, and you never know, is it going to be close to your apartment, or is it going to be 10 blocks away? Or are you even going to find one, and then what? The other option is there are parking garages in the North End. I found 4 of them, and it looks like the average cost is about $450 per month. I found one that was $430. That's about 4 blocks away, but it's like city blocks that are pretty big blocks. Which, I mean, honestly, 4 blocks is not that far until it's 10 degrees outside and it's snowing, or it's pouring down rain, and then it's a very long way. It's also a very long way if you have to carry things like groceries, which is a regular occurrence. So yeah, a lot of things to think about there. Also, no elevator in the building, and this apartment is on the 4th floor. So that's the first thing that is of concern. Not just on a daily basis, but when you're moving, you're carrying everything up 4 floors. And then on a daily basis, my work computer is a laptop that's like 10 pounds. I mean, it's insane. And then groceries, and anytime you're traveling, you're carrying all that stuff up and down the stairs. So there's some advantages here, but there are definitely a lot of drawbacks as well. So let's talk about the price. Like I said, this unit is 625 square feet, and it is $3,500 per month. The parking is about 4 blocks away, and it is $430 per month. So what do you think? Would you pay that to live here? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so the next apartment that we're going to see is a lot farther down towards the harbor. It's still on Hanover Street like the first one was, but it's almost all the way down to the harbor. Basically, it's a lot farther down that street. So it's in the brick building that is right here, and it's on the 2nd floor, which is better. It's not nearly as far up as the other one was. So again, they wouldn't let me take videos because there are people living there, which is fine. So I took some pictures though. The first thing that strikes me is there's no central air. How do you know? Well, there's a window unit. So it's pretty obvious there's an AC in the window. It is a nice enough apartment though, and it has good sunlight from the street, which is good. The building does look well maintained, and the apartment itself looks well maintained as well. Because it's an older building, there are a few quirky things about it. When you go into the bedroom, there's a closet that doesn't really have a door. It's more of its door is kind of a curtain. This is a lot bigger place than the other one though. And certainly a lot bigger than the apartment that I live in now. It's 950 square feet and it's 2 bedrooms. Both of the bedrooms are kind of small, but I mean, it's still a pretty big space, and having an extra bedroom would be amazing. And on top of 2 bedrooms, there's a dining room as well. So I don't have a dining room table, obviously, but I would be happy to use that for an office space or a video space. I'm sure I could find some use for it without trying too hard. The kitchen is kind of small and the cabinets are a little bit older, but it is nice enough. The appliances are a little bit older too. Obviously, there are going to be some drawbacks for the value here. You're getting a lot bigger apartment, but you have to deal with some things not being quite as nice as some of the other places that we've looked at. The bathroom is incredibly small and very disappointing. There is the absolute opposite of space in the bathroom. There's no counter space whatsoever. There is a bathtub, which is nice, but there's no storage space. There's not even a place to put my curling irons. So I would have to have a separate space in my bedroom with a mirror, like a whole vanity setup so that I could do my hair and my makeup. Yeah, that would be really annoying. I wonder if this building is probably so old that they may not have even had bathrooms in there. There are a lot of buildings that are that old in Boston, and a lot of houses that are like bathrooms were kind of an afterthought because there weren't really bathrooms when they were built, or it may have been retrofitted and they were just like, well, what's the smallest space possible that we could have for a bathroom, and that's what they chose. Honestly, I would rather not have a dining room and have a decent sized bathroom, especially with a counter space. And maybe it's just me because I grew up in the Midwest and kitchens and bathrooms were usually very nice. In houses, you would have a bigger kitchen and then you would have decent sized bathrooms that had like massive counter space. And that was just a given. And I guess I took it for granted because around here, it's the opposite. There are a lot of houses, especially triple deckers, that end up having 5 bedrooms. They weren't designed that way. They were typically designed with a formal living room and a formal dining room and then 2 or 3 bedrooms. But what's happened is they converted those 2 rooms into rooms, basically. And a lot of people rent the actual room instead of like the whole apartment. So you end up with an apartment that has 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And then you have 5 people that share a kitchen and a bathroom. It's just kind of insane. I don't know how people do that. And even with that, your rent is still $1,000 per month, which is crazy. And you still have to pay for parking because there are generally not parking spaces in those places either. So I think I've ranted long enough about this bathroom. It is very sad. We'll definitely put that at the top of the list of negatives for this building. Okay, so positives and negatives. The positive, obviously, there's a lot of space here, 950 square feet. It's a nice enough building. It's not perfect, but it's decent. I love the area. I love being so close to the harbor. This building is literally 2 blocks from the harbor, maybe a block and a half, really. So that would be absolutely fantastic to be that close to the water. It's not close enough where you can see the water, which is unfortunate. There's a lot of big buildings around this particular building, and you still have to kind of go around the corner. And then there's the Coast Guard has a big station that's right there. And of course, there's a lot of big buildings that are harborfront. So you are very close to the harbor. You just can't see it, which is unfortunate. That's definitely a huge positive. Obviously, I love the neighborhood. I think this part of town, you're kind of getting away from a lot of the touristy stuff. The touristy stuff is kind of, it's Hanover Street for sure, but it's farther west. But most of the restaurants are a little bit farther west. And the bakeries and the coffee shops and things, they're still very close, but it's on the quieter side of the North End, I would say. The whole area looks very nice, though I'm sure I would be perfectly happy there, especially being that close to the harbor. That would be my morning walk every single day. Obviously, it's an older building. It doesn't have central air, which really stinks. There's no elevator, so you have to walk up the stairs. And then there's the parking situation. So there are no parking garages that are anywhere close to this building. The closest one that I could find that says that they offer monthly parking and would tell me how much it costs is about 10 blocks away, which is a long way away, especially if you're talking about carrying groceries, and walking that twice a day that's a lot. There is one that's a little bit closer. I don't know how much the parking was. It did say that they offered monthly rates, but it is a part of one of the hotels that's waterfront. I don't know, you're probably talking about $600 a month at least. So about $430 for the one that's farther away. And there was the one that's $430 is about 12 to 15 blocks away. There's one that I'm assuming is about $550. That's about 10 blocks away. And then the one at the hotel, I would say is probably at least $600 a month. So, and the one at the hotel is about 2 to 3 blocks away. I mean, you are saving quite a bit of money on the rent, which is $3,385 per month. And I'm assuming the parking is going to be about $550 a month. So the question is, would you pay that to live here? Do you think that's a reasonable cost? Let me know in the comments. All right, we have to go down and see the harbor. We absolutely have to see it. I really just want to see the harbor while we're out here, but I don't know if we can get there from here. Oh, maybe. This is the view, you guys. This is the absolute view. I love this. There's a whole sidewalk that runs along the harbor that they call the Harborwalk, so you can walk all the way around the city. It's absolutely beautiful.